here.
Yeah,
Leave it till we go
get
online,
some
then.
fish oil, dude, and some iodine because you're going seriously demented.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
you
What?
are.
No, let's
all right.
let's
Starting
sit
mid-
offline. Come on.
Back a
You're
minute.
starting to lose track of
Arwen.
the fairy tales
Arwen,
that you've
Arwen.
learned by heart.
Arwen, for crying out loud,
Let's be civil
Arwen.
while
How
offline.
can you have a civil discussion if all you're going to do is with these odd hominin attacks? Huh?
I agree.
Come on,
Let's be civil
back
while
off.
we're offline.
Put a cork in it, Arwen.
So the thing about
Riley, right? Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the thing about the Coriolis effect, the answer is so simple. It's all has to do with the speed of the object. Helicopters and planes do not fly fast enough to overcome the effect of being kind of swimming in the atmosphere, if you want to use that kind of loose jargon, versus a bullet.
No. Back off there. Back off there. It has nothing to do with the speed of helicopters. Coriolis effect is you have two frames of reference if you're going to consider the Coriolis effect. You have a rotating frame and you have a non-rotating frame. All right. Now, in any system, you may have more than two reference frames. Like if you're going to consider a problem where you have
Just
a
explain
roundabout
this.
spinning
We don't
of the
need to hear this story
Arwen,
again.
Arwen, for crying out loud.
Can we leave this till we go online?
Huh?
Can we leave
Do
this
what?
till we go online?
Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah, I think that's the better because this is
All
like
right.
on topic.
Well, I'll tell you what. When are you going to be back online?
Sure.
Hey, Riley. When are you going to be back online? I'll go take care of a few things and I'll
Just
come
10
back.
minutes. 5-10 minutes.
All right. Well, I'll bugger out of here. I'll come back in 10 minutes.
Cool. See you soon.
All right. Hey, so can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So who was the panelist who just said that the airplane and the helicopter aren't traveling fast enough to overcome?
Well, hang on. Let's leave it till we go back online because this is like on topic.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. All right.
Side note: it was me, Dave.
It's not Dave.
Travis.
No, I'm saying who was mentioning about the speed? That
Oh,
I'm
you're
saying.
not- Oh, you can tell this is going to be a fun hangout. Morning, Alan.
Hello, Dave.
Morning,
Ew.
Alan.
Morning, everybody. How you doing?
We're all good.
That's great weather here.
It's terrible over here.
Back to Britain, eh? Back to the British weather.
I'm looking at this
Yes.
dilly stuff, but I can't seem to find like something that explains him flying around all the time. They're just doing airplanes and recording it in airplanes.
Guys, it's very simple. The Coriolis effect does not apply to the stationary Earth. It's very
Wait,
simple.
Arwen.
Coriolis effect down places. Oh, you can't wait to get it out there anyway. The Coriolis effect. I think when you say to people that they don't understand stuff, you're automatically accusing them of like not digesting the information properly. And that's
No, George does understand it. George does understand it.
George just keeps repeating himself. I don't know why you even...
Because he's
blocked
obfuscating
him.
the truth. He has to obfuscate it to make it sound stupid.
Yeah, but we know that.
Yeah,
This
but
guy...
new people don't. New people don't, Arwen.
Oh, come on. We had several shows about this. Why are you still letting this clown on?
Because we're showing that these people have to obfuscate the points. They can't give a coherent
Every
answer.
freaking person in the world that has ever heard of Flat Earth knows this by now.
Well, new guy doesn't. The
I don't know
Birmingham guy.
either. I don't pretend to either.
If you learn about Flat Earth, you learn about the Glober Trolls. Come on.
Yeah, I'm seeing
It's one of the first basics you get to hear.
that's
when
what's
you get
getting me.
confronted with it.
Seeing the behaving pattern of like I'm looking at me on the other side. And
Your
presenting
sound is
arguments to the
incredibly low.
Globers and seeing how they react. It's like it's exactly how I was, and it's like no way. No way. Horrible.
No?
Someone's mic, man. Someone needs to sort their stuff
Yeah,
out.
it's not me.
Travis.
Is it me or is Tommy very low? I can't
Tommy,
follow you.
oh
I
yeah.
can turn my mic up like better like that, or I can.
Yeah,
I've
bro,
got a mix
thank
of-
you. I've been struggling to hear you this whole time.
Sorry, man.
I can't. Yeah, man, that's much better.
I think it's because Nathan keeps adjusting my my input as well. So it's like I've got a mixer next to me, and obviously he's got his mixer. So when I tend to be too loud, he turns me down, and when I'm too low, I have to turn up, and it's a bell.
Yeah, we do need you to be a little bit louder.
Yeah, do what you're doing right now because I
Check,
can
check,
hear you now.
check.
I couldn't hear you before.
Okay.
So cool.
Is it good quality as well?
Yeah, sounds okay.
Okay.
Arwen.
Shame about the Brummy accent, though.
I just got this in.
I thought you were
Arwen,
from
doing a
Wolves.
commercial right now, Arwen?
I'm not far from there.
I just got this in.
Not far from there. By
Very
Dudley,
happy
by,
about it.
not far from the Yam Yams either. Whereabouts yourself?
I'm not in. I went to Wolverhampton Uni, so I'm familiar with the dialect. But you sounded more Black Country than you did Birmingham. So it was like,
What I'm saying, you're all right.
yeah.
I can't see that.
That's why I thought you were Wednesbury side because I thought, fucking hell, you sound.
Sounds like he's from Dudley.
I'm surrounded,
Yeah.
I'm surrounded by Dudleys and them Yam Yams, but now
I always thought, well, you know, the phrase Black Country. I always thought it was a racial slur. I didn't realise it was actually to do with coal.
Yeah, is it?
Apparently so. Yeah. The Black Country's to do with
It's been brainwashed by the liberal media. Not every word black has to do with racism. Or
It does in England. You're not allowed to use the word black anymore.
yeah, that's because you've been flushed out by a bunch of liberal idiots. It's all social just a warrior fight.
Half my family are fucking burnt.
So you didn't know Black Country was a reference to the coal?
I didn't know. Black Country, just like some areas, innit? You got some mad names for some areas. They're just
Fat country.
You know what I mean?
Tommy, where exactly are you from?
Birmingham.
Oh, you're in Birmingham.
Yeah, Birmingham.
Oh, okay.
I thought
Burma.
Burma.
Birmingham. I don't know how to pronounce it really. Just it's kind of close enough.
Birmingham.
Sounds right to me. I'm from New
Riley,
York, so-
Riley,
Yeah.
get him to say Kit Kat Chunky.
Kit Kat Chunky.
A Kit Kat Chunky.
Kit
Kit
Kat
Kat Chunky.
Kit Kat Chunky.
Kit Kat chunky, 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 Kit Kat
What
chunky.
the hell?
What's it called?
Kit Kat Chunky.
Is this turning into an episode of EastEnders or something?
Flatenders, apparently. It's called Flatenders.
It's not that hard, Alan. A lot worse out there. Tongue twisters.
You didn't get the joke. It's not a tongue twister.
No, it's just the way they pronounce it. Chunky.
Munster Munch.
Scouts, I think Scouts, as long as they got a Scouts accent, I'm all right. They're like, fucking hell, lad. What are you doing, lad? You're fucking walking around there and going there. You're going to get that t-shirt from there, lad.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and there's also a PayPal link in the info box below the video once it's rendered. But most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Tommy, the Plain Truth, Sleeping Warrior, Earth Flattener, Flat Earth, Dave, Chocolate Saiyan, Arwin, and Alan. Good to have you all.
Good afternoon.
Yo.
Shout out to AZFE chick.
Who's AZFE chick?
It's Caroline, okay? Her name is Caroline.
Should we retract it because we don't know who she is?
No, you shall not retract AZFE chick.
Oh, okay.
No, I retract your even thinking that.
You retract my retract.
Travis, is that the girl you're visiting?
That's the girl, yes.
Ooh.
All right, so we've got George on, Nathan, and he wants to explain to us why we've got Coriolis wrong. George, are you there?
Well,
told
either
him
way,
like 5 to 10 minutes.
before we crack
It's
into
been
that,
like
that might
10
fall
minutes.
into housekeeping, so we're going to do a bit of housekeeping. So, any
And we've
signs
got
of
a full
curvature,
panel,
gentlemen?
so-
Hold on. Any signs of curvature?
None.
Not of the Earth-based variety.
No? Anybody? Anybody at all?
None.
Well, Travis might have seen some curvature, but it's not on the Earth.
Okay. Any signs of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
Nope.
Nope.
Anybody at all?
Nope.
Alan, nobody?
What about evidence of gas pressure without a container?
Nope. None of that.
Never.
Definitely none of that.
Never ever, except in a person's wildest imagination.
About scientific evidence of gravity?
None of that neither.
Not scientific evidence. But
What about a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Absolutely not.
well, at the presupposed spherical Earth, probably. But yeah, that's a presupposition. So it's never going to get there.
No? Anybody else? No?
Nope.
Molten iron core? No? What about the distance to
Alan
the
D,
sun?
nobody? No.
Anybody got any evidence for the distance to the sun?
No, it's all no. There's no evidence. There is no distance. I prefer Arwin's answer for that one. There is
no distance to the sun. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one.
There is no spoon.
Well, last but not least, any evidence of the R value? Earth radius. Anybody?
No.
Nope.
Well, that concludes our housekeeping then. Quicker than I thought with a full panel.
Right, George, are you there?
Nope. The panel is
He's
full.
not here. He said he left. He was going to come back.
And the panel is full, so...
Oh, right, he's not even in the hangout.
No, he's still in the back chat, but the panel is full.
That's a shame, because George was just about to put us right on where we're going wrong with Coriolis. So I was hoping we'd get some closure on that point, but unfortunately, he doesn't seem to be here.
I don't think there's ever closure with George.
No, I'd agree with that statement. It took him 3 hangouts back to back, and he still couldn't get it out. Who's got a cat?
It's Dave's
Well,
cat.
I've got a question for one of the panelists. He brought it up in the in between the show, and he made the statement that the helicopter and the airplane doesn't fly fast enough to overcome the spin. So, my question is, what proof do you have of this? Where is?
Well, we know the tangential
Where's your evidence?
1,000.
Hold on,
miles
Anthony.
an hour.
Anthony, he wasn't asking you.
So, the basic point I'm trying to make is, the speed of the bullet, which is, I'm not an expert at exact speeds, but isn't it like somewhere between 1,300 and 1,500 miles an hour? Somewhere in that ballpark?
Well, you know the tangential speed's 1,020, right? 10-20 miles an hour on the equator.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Sorry,
let's keep
Dahlia there.
It's cute.
Let's keep going with what you're saying though. But okay, because your statement was regarding a helicopter or an airplane, and now you're going to a bullet. So make your connection.
So the connection is this: because of the speed of the bullet, it is not being influenced by the rotation of the atmosphere. Basically, if you have the atmosphere spinning with the Earth, then if you're not going fast enough, you're kind of trapped in the atmosphere and you're going to be spinning with the Earth. However, if you are faster than, if you reach that sort of magic velocity where you are fast, yes, I'll use the word magic. If you use the threshold velocity where you are not being influenced by the atmospheric push, let's call it that, then the Earth will rotate under you while your bullet is traveling.
Okay, so what is your observation that you're basing this claim on?
The artillery field guide that has a whole section on dealing with rotation of the Earth.
Okay, so that basically, hold on. So basically, all that's going to tell me is what you just told me. So I'm asking you again, what's your observation that you based your claim on?
If you don't shoot a gun, he's saying
exactly.
you can't make the claim.
I live in Canada. We don't have guns.
Yeah, you do.
Okay, but here's all we're doing though. All you're doing is explaining a thought.
No, it's
about.
Not a
Yes,
thought.
yes, he is, Alan.
Oh, Alan,
It is.
hold on.
An explanation.
Alan.
It's an explanation of a paradigm and a construct and how it would operate if this were to happen and this were to happen. You're simply describing something you think.
It's a story, Alan. He's being polite. He's just telling you it's a lovely
Anthony,
story.
Alan, both of you, you're as bad as each other. Just let let Dave.
Exactly.
Let Dave give his answer.
Go on, Dave.
No, exactly. Well, I mean, just to touch on what Alan just said, if military people are using this to have accurate targeting, then it's not just my story. It's documentation based on real world experience, and whether or not I've personally experienced does not negate the fact that other people experience it.
If we were to get a sniper on the show right now, a clip of an actual military guy in America saying that they don't take into account Coriolis when they fire bullets, would you accept it?
Depends on the distance involved.
Are you familiar that Mark Sargent's interviewed a missile instructor and an infantryman from the US Army?
Yeah. Can we see the documents to prove that?
I mean,
hold on. Let's just get the standards straight. So he's just literally offered up the exact same standard in rebuttal, Alan, and you're saying, "Oh no, we need more. Like we've asked for more." So he's offered the same.
No, people lie.
That's our point, Alan. That's our point. That's our point. So that's our point, Alan. So the infantry. Alan, can you shut up a second?
No, I'm not shutting up.
The infantryman that has offered his information that Dave has cited could also be lying, Alan. That's precisely our point.
So the military train people in lies.
Yeah, in the same way you're claiming that the guy that we can cite might lie, so might the guy that Dave cites.
When lives depend on it, they've printed a book full of lies, have they?
Right. If you
I'm not
so,
citing a
people
particular
lie.
individual.
People lie. That's your point. That's our point.
Okay, so it's a wash then. Let's move on.
Excellent. So maybe you've got some other evidence that we have a Coriolis effect.
I'm pretty much just sort of sticking with my bullets and planes theory and speed and how that plays a factor.
So what do you mean? Story. Let me just get clarity then. So it is your belief that because they're travelling too slow, they won't be affected by the Coriolis effect? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying because they travel too slow, they don't exhibit the Coriolis effect.
So if something's travelling slow enough, it won't exhibit the Coriolis effect?
Yes, in the
okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put on screen for the audience again a ball on a roundabout. The ball's not travelling at supersonic speed. It's travelling very slowly on the roundabout when you explain the Coriolis effect. Because it travels into a second reference frame, regardless of how slow it travels, it exhibits the Coriolis effect. Because it's travelling into a second reference frame while you continue to turn underneath. So the slowness is irrelevant. You either have the Coriolis effect...
independent of the roundabout.
Excuse me, I wasn't quite finished, Alan. I know it demolishes your assertion, but let's just shut up, Alan, because he hates it when I get to the crescendo of my point, which is that in this example, where it defines the Coriolis effect, we have a ball travelling quite slowly, and that ball is being affected because it travels into a second reference frame. In this case, the atmosphere, devoid of turn, because it's not attached to the roundabout. The atmosphere in this specific example of what the Coriolis effect is, the atmosphere and the roundabout are separate. The ball's travelling slowly, which completely debunks Dave's assertion. Okie dokie.
I'd have to counter that point.
Go on.
In the sense that, okay, let's say, how big is a roundabout's diameter? What, maybe 7 feet? 8
It doesn't matter. It makes absolutely no difference. The one I presented on screen was 3 inches.
Because when you talk about throwing a ball from the center of the roundabout outwards, you're talking about, again, I'll just throw out a number, say 7 feet. How long does it take to travel that 7 feet? If you scale that up, are we talking about a bullet speed or not?
You didn't listen to me. The one on screen is about 3 inches.
Is anyone still there?
Yeah.
I'm here. Sorry, you're looking at that blue circle with the yellow line thing.
Yeah, that would be a demonstration of the Coriolis effect. Once the ball leaves the rotating reference frame and enters the atmosphere, which is not rotating, you see a curve in the path of the ball because the atmosphere is not rotating with the roundabout. Now, your claim is that the Earth and the atmosphere rotate together, correct?
Yes.
Then there's no Coriolis effect. Yeah, you can laugh it up all you like, Alan. Here's the definition. The ball leaves the rotating reference frame, analogous to the Earth rotating, enters the atmosphere, analogous to the atmosphere, and it appears to deflect because it's in a second reference frame. You're now claiming that the Earth doesn't have a second reference frame, they're attached. Nonsense. If you have a Coriolis effect, they are not attached. That's how you have Coriolis. Why are you laughing? These are facts, Alan. Do you find these facts funny?
They're not facts.
Yes, that's the fact of Coriolis. You are on a rotating reference frame, and when you release the ball from the rotating reference frame, it enters the non-rotating reference frame, causing an apparent deflection. That apparent deflection is the Coriolis effect, because it has left the rotating reference frame, analogous to the Earth being the rotating reference frame that the ball or bullet or plane or helicopter will leave when it enters the second reference frame, the atmosphere. The only problem being, nothing happens. Yeah, so you can claim that it's attached, but then you don't have a Coriolis effect.
Oh dear.
Yeah, oh dear, it's a big problem for your ball religion, isn't it? Because you need it to have a Coriolis effect. It's a spinning ball.
Nathan, it's not a religion.
Yeah, it is a religion because you have no evidence of it. That's why when Travis asked for the evidence, you gave testimony. I believe in what someone's told me about the Coriolis effect. You didn't provide evidence. You didn't prove it. You just presented your blind faith in what men say. Like a typical religitard. You are a religious zealot, Alan. You don't have to like it. You can talk all over me while I point out how you're a religious zealot. You can do that. But it just highlights to the audience how big of a religious zealot is, because you don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear me pointing out that you've taken this on faith.
I don't want to hear me pointing out. I don't want to hear.
Oh, you want to mimic me now, do you? That's fine too. It just shows the audience that when I get to the crescendo of my point, that you must have a second reference frame that's not rotating, and that's shit all over by planes and bullets and balls that don't demonstrate any Coriolis effect. You can laugh, but that's a fact. In order to have a Coriolis effect, you have a second reference frame, the atmosphere. And if that was to be the case, you'd need planes travelling at different speeds in different directions, but we don't experience that. Why? Because the Earth isn't turning. Not because the atmosphere is attached to the turning ball. That's bollocks. That's just what you say to get around the fact that nothing happens. Why doesn't it happen? Because it's not bloody turning.
Alan, why can't you counter rather than respond? But
well, the thing is, and the thing that interests me most, you two are supposed to be all about the truth.
Sorry, this is a non sequitur nonsense shite, rather than an address to my actual point about the Coriolis. Planes aren't travelling in different directions, yet if you are to have a spinning ball with a Coriolis effect, they must travel at different speeds, because they're entering a second reference frame, the atmosphere. Like with the roundabout and the ball, you release the ball, and the ball seems to deflect because the atmosphere is not attached to the roundabout.
Yes, it is.
Alan.
Oh, sorry, yes, it is. So you're claiming that in this example, where it quite specifically points out that there is a rotating reference frame and a non-rotating reference frame, you're going to claim that the atmosphere is attached to this roundabout, are you, Alan?
Why don't we all go to a fire?
Excuse me, are you going to answer my question, dumbass?
No, I'm not. No, I'm
well,
not.
that's because you're a wanker. You just want to rumpus the hangout while I make my devastating point for your ball religion.
Devastating, you.
Yes, devastating point to your ball religion that you've taken on faith. We don't spin, and the Earth is not a ball, you religitard wanker.
What an idiot.
That's all you've got. Ad hominems. Yeah? That's all you have. You don't have a rebuttal.
Good. Let's all go to a firing range.
What would a firing range do, Alan? Explain us. Talk us through it.
We'll shoot one bullet east and we'll shoot one bullet west and we'll see what happens.
Right, so the bullet's going to go faster or go slower. Shouldn't you be doing it north and south?
Is that what you think?
Yeah, because the Earth's spinning.
You don't know anything about it.
Sorry, that's what the Coriolis effect is.
Not.
What do you mean, doesn't he know it? He's just had the Coriolis explained with you talking all over me about 3 times.
You don't know anything about it.
If it's leaving the rotating reference frame into a separate reference frame, the ball, Earth, you believe you live on, rotates underneath it.
Nathan, let's get Alan to explain where we've got it wrong.
Let's go better than that. Let's go to a firing range.
No, you tell us where we've got it wrong.
But let's go and film it.
No, you tell us why we've got it wrong.
You're not interested in the truth.
Excuse me, you coming up with something that we could do going forward isn't a demonstration of some proof of the Coriolis effect. You're using a bullshit aside by saying let's go to a firing range. That makes you a wanker, Alan. You're not coming up with any rebuttal. You're saying let's go to a firing range. Oh, right, well, let's go to the zoo.
No, let's go to the firing range.
No, let's go to the zoo, because I can assert that going to the zoo will destroy your argument. So let's go to the zoo.
No, let's go to a firing range.
Why?
One bullet east and
Why?
one bullet west, and
Why?
we'll prove Coriolis.
Why? Prove it. What? You're saying one will travel faster than the other?
No.
Well, that's what Coriolis effect is. So you don't even understand what Coriolis effect. There's no point going to a firing range with you. You think the fact that it will leave the bullet and travel in the same speed will prove Coriolis? Because then there's no effect, you absolute muppet. You're just dense. Yeah, all you can do is rumpus the bloody hangout.
Mute your mic, whoever's eating.
I'm gonna kick
Just let him
Alan
talk, let him
to make
talk,
room for George.
I want to hear what Alan's got to say, though.
Okay.
Right, listen, if Alan's not going to explain where we've gone wrong, I think he should be kicked so that George can get back in.
We'll give him one last
I
chance.
wanna know
Explain where we're going wrong, Alan.
Face the truth, you've got to kick me.
Explain where we're going wrong. This is your last
Come on.
chance. If you tell us that we need to go to a firing range and don't give us an explanation of what we're going to achieve, I'll kick you.
Nathan, answer me one question.
No! Don't ask me anything. Explain how going to a firing range will prove that the Earth is spinning. Kick him out. What a wanker. All you've got is laughter. That's all you've got, you complete wanker. I'm going to kick you out. Get out of my hangout. You're an absolute arsehole.
See if we can get George back in. I don't know why he left, to be honest.
Because he's too, because obviously of all the because he's being schooled on what he's saying, he's too busy like worrying about how the behaviour is rather than the actual. He's not listening to the content of the argument. He's just looking at the behaviour, and that's what's going to get him. He's going to leave now thinking, he's just going to be too busy thinking about the behaviour rather than the fact that
it's
the argument, even though the argument's proven wrong, he's just going to be thinking about the behaviour. So he feels like he still knows something that you don't, but he never presented it because of the behaviour. And that's the point I was trying to make. Sometimes it's better to just let him, just give him his time to say what he's going to say, and then just point out where he's wrong, and then leave it be.
Anyway, he's obfuscated the point. That's all Alan done is obfuscated that point. He didn't add anything to it. So I want somebody to explain why it's wrong. And George claims he can do that. So hopefully we'll get George in and we can get George to explain how we've got it wrong.
I mean, the simple answer to your question of why is your thinking wrong is because you guys are not factoring in the aerodynamics of the object in flight.
Yeah, that's really going to make a big difference to the tangential speed of 1,000 miles an hour, isn't it? You're arguing over the icing on the top of the cake.
I mean, if you're talking about airplanes and helicopters that don't go fast enough because of their aerodynamics, then obviously aerodynamics comes into play, right?
Sorry, I've already gone over this. Let's just do it again because it's like I didn't even explain it. So we're not talking about aerodynamics. Let's bring it up on screen again for about the 4th time. This isn't about aerodynamics. There's no aerodynamic details in this explanation of the Coriolis effect. The ball and its aerodynamic properties is irrelevant. It could be a brick. So long as you throw it from the roundabout and the roundabout continues to turn underneath, it will demonstrate an apparent curved path. That's Coriolis. Yeah. It leaves the rotating reference frame, and because it goes into a second reference frame, the atmosphere, which is not rotating with the roundabout, you see an apparent deflection. So you explain to me why the speed of this ball in this example has anything to do with the fact that it leaves a rotating reference frame into a non-rotating reference frame.
Because the speed of the ball is fast enough to overcome the air resistance.
Show me where it says that.
It's obvious, isn't it?
Not obvious. Did you listen to what I just said?
It's not
if you throw a... Let's say...
Not if I throw... Show me in this article where it says that.
It's a valid point.
The point is...
Don't give me an explanation and tell me what the point is. Tell me where it says that.
If you don't think a ball is
excuse me, you're going to do it for a 3rd time. Don't piss in my face. Tell me where it says that in this reference.
It doesn't cite it in that reference. It doesn't.
Right. So shut your stupid mouth. It's obvious. It says it in this explanation here that anybody can read. It doesn't say anything about the speed of the bullet, or the ball, or the brick, or the plane, or the helicopter. It simply says that if you throw it from a rotating reference frame into a non-rotating reference frame, you will see an apparent deflection. It is as simple as that. Nothing to do with the speed, nothing to do with anything except for leaving a rotating reference frame and entering a non-rotating reference frame. That is it.
Exactly.
Let me jump in just real quick, because this was the point that I was trying to make with you. You're making a claim that the article doesn't make. So then my question to you is, okay, fine. You're making a claim the article doesn't make. What's the basis for your claim then?
Yeah, that's my.
And is it justified? Okay?
That's what I was going to ask.
So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you can explain aerodynamics and whatnot. Great, that's fine, and I understand, and it makes sense.
Okay.
Except that's not what we're given, and you're giving us more information. So now we're saying justify your information, not what you think it is, but go get another article, or 2, or 3, or 4 that says what you say. Otherwise, we have to go with what we're given, and it doesn't say that.
So I'm just as a side note, I'm starting to run out of time, so I can't hang around too much. But so what you're asking is some sort of article or something that deals with the speed necessary for an object, or the aerodynamics, or the speed of a plane to overcome the effect.
Sorry, what you're asking us is, what do you mean back up my claim? You've made the claim. Go and back it up.
Yeah, that's right. You've made the claim.
Okay, we'll see what I can find.
So you're not here with something to back it up already, just your, what, thought experiment?
Take your time.
Oh, you're going to laugh at me like Alan did when I absolutely crap all over your argument. You don't have anything to back it up whatsoever, do you?
He has to find more evidence. That's what I found funny, because he said, go and take your time finding it, because you ain't going to find it. That's the point.
Yeah, he's run out of time suddenly when we get to the crescendo of a point that demolishes his point. You've got nothing to back your claim then. Hello?
Right here. Yeah, sorry. Right here and now. No, I do not have some scientifically proven to your satisfaction explanation.
No, don't extend what I've asked you for. Anything to back your claim. Hello? Do you have anything to back your claim? Or have you got to bugger off after making a religious assertion?
I will. Okay, if you want something short and quick, I'll just fall back on that military, the artillery guide that has to factor in.
Oh, we've already gone over this. People lie. Alan made that very clear to you.
Sorry, say that again?
Alan made it very clear. People lie.
Well, then I guess you can't believe anything.
Well, no, we're asking for evidence, and we've asked you to provide it, and you've gone to something that's been debunked by somebody on your own team.
He didn't say explicitly the artillery guide lies.
Sorry, he said that the guy we would cite, another artillery guy, could be lying. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. So, I'll ask my question again. Do you literally have nothing to back your assertion?
At this point, yes.
Right.
That's okay.
Why are you making it then?
I'm just shedding light on the discussion.
You're not shedding light. You're giving us your bloody opinion with no evidence to back it. You're not shedding light on anything.
And it also...
How dare you? How dare you tell my audience that your bloody single man's opinion is shedding light on something? How arrogant are you? Don't laugh at me, you arrogant prick. Do you think you're omnipotent? Do you think you know everything? You think you're infallible? Hello?
I'm listening.
I'm asking you a question. Do you think you're infallible?
No.
So why are you making this assertion?
Because it seems plausible.
Seems? I don't give a crap what you think it seems, you absolute retard.
Well, you don't think that a lot of people...
I don't want to know what you think anymore, Dave. Yeah? You haven't got any evidence to back your crap. You only have your religious zealotry. You only have your faith and belief.
Well, if I'm not going to convince you, that's fine.
You're not here to convince me. We've got evidence and proof. We've got demonstrations that depict exactly what the Coriolis effect is. You've ignored every one of them. And I assume you continue to maintain that the Earth that is spinning in your religious belief has got the Earth and the atmosphere as one, correct?
That seems to be the popular...
What do you mean, seems?
Mate, I've done exactly the same mistake you've done, man. You've just, you've come in with something that you've collective knowledge over growing up and stuff like that, and then you've just kind of believed in it, but you don't realise that it is just faith-based. You do need to go and get actual proof, and when you realise there is actual hardcore proof, then then you're at fault, and it's just for you to be honest to say what you thought was a fact is actually just fiction.
So you're going to do that, Dave?
I mean, I can do some research. That's fine.
No, that's not what he asked you to do.
Find proof.
Well, I mean, the gentleman there was saying, you've been raised with a set of beliefs, and and whether or not they're true or not, it's you could be believing a falsehood, or it could be true, and you have to do research to find out.
Okay, well, we've done it for you. You believe there's a Coriolis effect on Earth that spins and is a ball. We have pointed out that the Coriolis effect would be necessitated by planes flying at different speeds in different directions, because to have a Coriolis effect, you must leave a rotating reference frame into a non-rotating reference frame, necessitating plane travelling at different speeds. Now, either you don't understand what we've explained, because there's no further research needed, or you deny it because of your religious zealotry. Which is it?
Right.
Yeah, and look past the the fact that he's shouting at you, because he's so sick of constantly repeating it to people, and then when you're not taking it in, and then you're just continuously trying to push your point, you're not listening, but then you're expecting him to listen to you. But he's already pointed out that you're incorrect and you're not listening to him. So it's just, you do need to realise that you are wrong in this. What the evidence you've brought forward isn't sufficient. And therefore you must listen to what he's saying, because you're not the first, and you won't be the last person to come in with that sort of deludedness.
I don't know.
I'm proud of you, Tommy. I'm proud of you.
I'm shocked, actually.
I'm lost for words.
It is what it is at the end of the day, and you have to, like I said, I don't mind being a fool. I don't mind.
No offense, Tommy. Let's just see if you get a response, though.
Sorry, is there a real question in there, or there's just a statement?
I'll repeat it. Either you don't understand what we've explained about what Coriolis is, or you will simply deny it because you have a religious faith. Which one is it?
No, I understand the Coriolis effect.
So you understand that for the Coriolis effect to take place, you would need planes to travel at different speeds in different directions because the Earth turns underneath. You understand that?
Yes. Now, what is it? Again,
why don't they then? Why don't they then? Why don't they travel at different speeds then if we have a Coriolis effect?
I explained that was the original reason I came here, is because the speed and aerodynamics is the thing that comes into play. Flying up.
Sorry, so you are literally going to piss it right back in our faces and go back to the beginning of your circle jerk that you have no evidence for and you believe and it seems. You're going to go back and assert that again. What, to bring clarity? No, wanker. Don't deny what we've told you. If it's entering a second reference frame, it will have the Earth turn underneath it, necessitating planes travelling at different speeds in different directions. Don't now piss your belief back in my face, because that would be option 2. You simply deny what we have pointed out because you have a religious faith, and you're going to justify it with something that it seems, and something that you believe, and something you don't have any evidence for. Correct, Dave?
No, incorrect, because it is documented.
Sorry, you've not presented us with a damn thing.
Yeah, but he's just said it is documented, but you haven't got anything, right?
I mean, everybody can go look at that famous...
here we go. We can all go and look up his bullshit evidence for him. You've got nothing. We've already had you explain you've got nothing, otherwise you'd have put it on the table. You've got nothing.
All right, let me jump in just real quick and ask another clarification question, Dave. So you're talking about the artillery field manual, right? Okay.
Yeah, right.
Which has to do with gunfire. We're talking about airplanes. So how are you extrapolating a field manual for artillery and now making applications to aircraft that are different shapes and different sizes? I'm just asking. I mean, how are you going from one to the other?
Because the point of the field guide is the fact that when you're dealing with artillery, you're dealing with speeds. And again, you know, Nathan's going to start screaming about speeds, but it's obviously a factor that's.
So is that why they make different calibers? They make different calibers that are larger and smaller and more aerodynamic, so that you know that if you're at 1,000 yards, you use this one, or if you're at 500 yards, you use this one. Is that why we change our calibers? Because of the aerodynamics, so that we can adjust for Coriolis? Is that why we have different airplane sizes, like a 747 and whatever else? Those are the actual proof, right? Because we have different sized airplanes. They know at what altitude and what speed each of those is going to fly. Is that why they do it?
I mean, the design specifications of a plane are whether or not it's, you know, passenger load, cargo load, distance to travel, et cetera, et
so
cetera.
Now it's cargo and load and distance rather than aerodynamics and Coriolis. So you see where we're going? It's going everywhere.
The thing is, you're trying to. I'm not sure why you're trying to make some sort of case for isolation. Obviously,
you're
if
the
there's
one that's making assertions,
distance, load, capacity, all those things just come into play for the ultimate design of the plane, right?
Right.
None of that comes into play for the Coriolis. The problem is not the speed. The problem is the spin. There is no spin of the Earth. You're not seeing that. Not understanding. That's the problem, man. There's no aerodynamic problem. There's no speed problem. Problem is the Earth is not spinning. That's the problem.
I don't know.
You have to identify what you've done is you've brought some sort, as I said, growing up, it's like collective knowledge, but it's all like subliminal, not really. Nothing you've actually done is study, test, and affect yourself. You've just kind of taken on what someone else has said, and that collective of knowledge has ended up being some sort of belief that you see as a fact, which really, when you actually try to step into it and look at it, it falls apart, really. You know what I mean? And until you actually bring something to the table, like even myself, I came in thinking like, oh yeah, I know this curvature. I've got evidence of curvature, and then when you put it on the table, and then you actually look at it, and you think, so fucking hell, this is what I've brought to you. It's like going to feed your children something that you thought was healthy, and really you're just feeding them poison. But you don't know it consciously. So you actually look at what's actually in that food that you're presenting, and it's just full of poison. So just be honest with yourself when you go to find this evidence. If you can't find it, or you can't find anything that's remember the way that you feel now, the confidence you came in with the belief, and you've also got to find something now that's got to be cemented. Do you know what I mean? In that you've got to have that same sort of confidence and that belief in what that Coriolis effect evidence that you think you had. And if you can't find it with that same level of confidence, then you have to realize you came in with a poisoned egg or whatever you want to call it.
Well, it's an assertion without evidence.
There you go. Thank you.
Anyway, gentlemen, at the risk of being called, a slimy weasel, because I'm running off. I actually do have to run off because it's quarter to 10 here. But I enjoyed the chit chat, and maybe we'll pick this up another time. Okay, we'll see what I can do.
See you later.
Alrighty.
Thank you very much for joining. I really appreciate it, Dave. It was good fun.
All good fun.
It's a shame George didn't come back in.
You might, you never know. Hey, P.
Hey, I caught Shauna Huffrod in another lie.
Go on.
I was just watching his last or second to last hangout, and he says that he claims I porn bombed you, Nathan, and that you banned me from this hangout. I don't believe that ever happened.
Nobody's banned. Nobody's blocked.
And then, yeah, well, he just claims this crap. I don't know what is wrong with this guy. He just blatantly lies. And then he said that I porn bombed him again, which I didn't do. I did share his link with someone who took it and did porn bomb him. So, I mean, I'm kind of responsible for that, I guess. But I didn't actually porn bomb him, and I do not support any porn bombings at all. Like, I think everyone should have their platform, and I hate how these people try and shut down people's voices. Like, I've had my channel suspended multiple times So I believe in free speech, and even though I don't agree with you, like I support your right to say whatever you want, right? So it just really bothers me when Sean, Sean, he acts like he's so upset at flat earthers for lying, but he blatantly lies. Like, I have personal knowledge. I know that I didn't do these things that he's claiming I did because I am me, right? So I know for a fact he's lying about this. What else is he lying about, right?
Asking for evidence, BMAS.
Oh, he never presents any evidence of this. No one ever does. Like, no one will have any evidence of me porn bombing their hangout because I don't do it. There might be a troll with my picture or something that comes on and does it, but no evidence that I porn bomb. I never porn bombed anyone. So, or would. I think it's disgusting. So there's that. Sean's a liar.
Sean is a liar.
Nice stop on
So is Sean trying to sue you, Riley? What's going on with that?
Well, he should be trying to sue me, but for some reason he's picked a fight with FE Core, and I'm like, you crazy guy. I mean, you've heard the recording, right? Do you think that it's me that's bleeding the sound of Soundly, or do you think that it's Sean? Do you think that it's Geo?
I guess I don't think Geo's getting coaching. I don't know. I don't know where the sound comes from.
So where do you think the sound came from then?
I don't have any idea. It's hard. It's like hard. You can't really tell from the audio of a hangout. I don't think either. You can't conclusively tell either way.
Actually, you can.
So,
yeah, you can.
I don't think.
But you can have a gut feeling. Like Geo says, where is it? Down here, right? And then Soundly says, yeah, go back to that and go back to that definition he cites too. Does that sound like a coherent back and forth? A coherent back and forth, or does it sound like it's a coincidental hangout that bled through my microphone?
I mean, in the end, it doesn't even really matter, right? Like the point.
Oh, no, it does. It does.
It kind of does, P.
That's the whole point of the conversation, and the fact that he's trying to sue FE Core, actually, P. So that's the crux of it, rather than not really mattering.
It does matter. He's got to be right. If he's not right, he's going to have egg on his chin.
Yeah, well, I don't think either side can prove. Like, there's no evidence that can prove where the audio came from. I don't.
Yeah, there is. Have you not seen the evidence presented already?
No, I don't watch that stuff.
Oh, P.
Fair enough.
Without knowing that there is evidence that shows both which mic did and which mic did not play the sound.
I talk to people that know stuff about sound more.
Well,
than
let me just give you a very
opinion.
2-second breakdown of it, P. So you're on a headset mic at the moment, right? Like a gaming headset?
Yeah.
Okay, so Anthony's on a Blue Yeti mic, and Geo's and Anthony's conversation was a similar setup. He's on a headset mic, Anthony's on his Blue Yeti. Now, as a consequence,
I have a Blue Yeti. Never mind. Sorry.
Okay, but because of that, the frequency range of the headset mic is far more limited than the frequency range of the Blue Yeti. So even if you have things like mouse clicks that are really quiet, it picks up the room ambience at the full frequency range that the Yeti can pick up. Whereas when Geo's speaking, it only picks up stuff at a limited frequency range. So when Soundly speaking, it only comes through at a very limited frequency range, proving that it's coming through GeoStreamer's microphone.
Except for the fact that there could be distortion from software like Skype.
No, you can see all that when you do a spectrum analysis of it. You can see precisely, and without even knowing, you can click on a part of it and go, this will definitely be a bit where GeoStreamer's speaking, and this will definitely be a bit where Anthony's speaking, because you can tell by the frequency range of what's coming through. It's more wide when Anthony speaks than when Geo speaks, and when Soundly speaks.
You can tell. I mean, I'm not an audio guy, but once someone showed me what the spectrum analysis, frequency spectrum analysis, I think it's called, when they showed me that and then told me what it did, it's obvious. It's like, right, so that's the microphone that's playing it, and that microphone's not. Don't have to be an intelligent guy to work it out. You can see it. No interpretations needed. It's black and white, or red in this case.
Well, people who know more about audio than me told me that you can't tell, and I'll just trust their opinion.
No.
So.
Now, if I ask you for evidence of that assertion, were you going to say who told you that?
Sure, Tim Osman and my friend Q.
And do you think that Tim Osman might be like biased in one side or the other, or do you think he's genuinely neutral or incompetent? incompetence.
Well, I think everyone has some bias. There's no way to be neutral.
But you're saying that Tim said that there's no way to tell. That tells me that either Tim doesn't know or is Tim's lying, one or the other.
If you're saying there's no way to tell, it's not like he's supporting either side. He's saying both sides is conclusive results.
Supporting one side, isn't he?
No.
Yeah, because he's saying that our evidence isn't particularly strong, and he's saying that Sean's interpretation is equal, and that's not support. That's not being neutral, is it? There isn't.
No,
the fact is,
I think he's saying.
Yeah, but Pete, Tim just told you that, right?
Yeah.
Did he show you anything, or he just told you that it can't be?
But he didn't. I read him commenting in Sean's chat.
Okay, so you
he
believe
was trying
that?
to argue
we've
Sean.
actually been shown.
Yeah, but you guys are flat earthers. So.
Oh right, so that makes us less equality citizens.
Yeah, I don't.
It's been analysed by. Sorry, Pete. It's been
I just
analysed
take
by
with
two
a
independent
massive
guys.
grain of salt.
One's a flat earther. One is completely neutral and been keeping himself anonymous. So there's been two audio guys, actual audio guys, that have analysed this. Both came with the same results. One of them even went to the effort of using the same software Sean has.
And it does do it. Just look at what a frequency spectrum analysis does. That's your answer. A frequency spectrum analysis, I think it was called.
Anyway, we all know he's guilty of sin. He's talking to Soundly and getting coached. When Soundly's talked about this subject, his response, whilst laughing, was say, "It sounds like I'm coaching Anthony." It's like, no, when you hear the sound clip, it's Geo talking, then Soundly responding. So it doesn't sound like you're coaching Anthony. It sounds like you're coaching Geo, which is precisely what's happening.
Exactly.
It's going to be interesting to see how much Sean, because Sean's made some statements recently, PMARS, in his last hangout. He said he's definitely going to sue FE Core. Well, let's see that. He said he's going to do something today.
Is he suing them for libel? What is he suing them for?
Well, he's doing nothing at the moment other than talking, spouting the nonsense, firing. What he's doing is throwing punches, and I'm calling him on it. I'm saying, okay, prove it. Let's see you get a legal person, a lawyer or a solicitor or whatever you call them in America, and prove that you've instructed him by showing us the letter of engagement, because everybody accepts instructions. I want to see it. I want to see.
So wait, so is he targeting FE Core because
so.
that dude Mike is in FE Core? Is that why?
He thinks that FE Core are now responsible for my words and Mike's words, so I think he's trying to get FE Core in it. And I'm thinking, you don't know what you're talking about, you idiot. So I want to see Sean put his foot in his mouth. I want to see him put his hand in his pocket and his foot in his own mouth, and I want the ballers to pay for it with a GoFundMe because they're going to lose.
Hey, PMARS, when you came in here, you said you caught Sean Hufford in another lie. So this example was what you said today, and so what would have been the first lie?
He always lies.
I mean, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I'm sure the guy lies. Well, here's a lie he tells, so I can think of. He says that he's not a transsexual, that he got into a car accident and bumped his head, and then
woke up a girl.
Yeah, I find that to be highly suspicious. I don't know for a fact that's a lie, but I tried to look in, see if there's any case. I tried to like Google and find if I could find any other examples of someone bumping their head in a car accident and waking up a woman. But
what?
I couldn't find any other corroborating examples. But then again, I didn't do like extensive research. So I don't know. It seems like he's a tranny who doesn't want to admit it and is lying. And it seems like all the bald earthers want to have sex with this guy. I don't know.
I was about to draw a line under this, but no, come on. There's no more.
Yeah, I agree.
Who cares?
I agree.
We know he's lying
tranny.
about a hangout between Anthony and GeoStreber and the contemporaneous conversation that GeoStreber had with Soundly in the background that bled through his microphone. That's what we know he's lying about.
Yeah, to be honest, the tranny bit I don't really give a shit about.
Even whether who cares?
It's irrelevant.
It is. It's totally irrelevant.
I think it shows that he's a liar, though, because he can't just admit.
Right.
Well, it may or may not, but it's not pertinent to this situation, P. So who cares?
Well, my point is, if you think he's a liar on so many levels, then why are you believing anything he says, including this about the audio?
I don't believe what he says about the audio.
No, he believes.
Well, you seem to be defending him. That's all.
I'm not defending him. Tim Osmond was arguing with him, saying that he can't. Tim was telling Sean can't prove where the audio came from because of there could be interference from software like Skype, or
that's
there
not
could be
true.
software. Well, that's what Tim said, man, and Tim knows more about audio than me by far. So like, I will trust Tim's opinion on this. And Tim's not on either side. It doesn't seem like.
Yeah,
He was
but
arguing with Sean.
But P Mars, we've been shown proof by people who work in audio. Get that, right?
Well, I talked to another person who knows.
Just going by hearsay.
I'm going by my friends who know more about audio than me. My friend Channel Q, she knows more about audio than me, and she told me the same thing, like similar
Channel
things
Q.
like Tim's saying.
Channel Q doesn't know what day of the week it is, dude.
The lady, the girl who came in here and lost her mind in this hangout, that girl?
Yeah, she's a lot
trust
like
her and Tim Osmond. Okay.
Yes.
Pete, those are your sources.
Over all of you, yes.
Those are your sources. Okay.
I don't trust any of you people at all.
No, you shouldn't trust us. You shouldn't. I agree. I wouldn't trust you guys, and you shouldn't trust us. I agree.
You know what's nice about that? We didn't
never
give
trust
you
this guy.
rotation.
You should also not trust.
Never trust this guy, sir.
You should also not trust, but like on the other side, you should be impartial. That's why you get independent people, right?
Yeah, you should try and be impartial. I don't think anyone can really be impartial, but you should try at least.
Well, what I'm saying is you shouldn't listen to Tim or Channel Q, because if they don't know what a frequency spectrum analysis is, then they don't know what they're talking about. I don't know what one of them is. I can only just about remember its name, but I know what it does, and it works on this occasion to tell me which microphone played the sound. So go back to your two sources and say, is Riley right? A frequency spectrum analysis will identify which microphone was the source, and then see what they say. And if they say no, then they don't know what they're talking about.
Okay. If I leave, will George join?
I don't know if he's trying to get in or not. He was in before, and I don't know why he left. I told him not to leave so that he would be in just like 5 minutes. So he left.
Things to work on or something. I don't know.
He's still in the chat.
No, then somebody make room.
Yeah, I'll make
I could drop if you guys want.
I'll drop. I just want to say.
When you stay, because I'm not really watching the back chat.
I am.
Yeah, that's why I want you to stay.
It's very easy to do other stuff and just keep that little panel open.
Yeah, the other stuff I'm doing though is a full screen application, and I can't. It doesn't let me have the overlay.
It's because you're playing outdated games.
I know. I missed it when I was like in my youth, so I feel as though I'm catching up.
There's updated versions of these.
Yeah, I know.
That do have like window functionality. You should kind of like do some updating.
I know.
Vinny in the chat's like tags and says, "That's a lie you've told there, Tommy, because I expect you're thick rather than evil," which flat earth math and the gold fact. Because he said that proof for the globe is that it's consistent, it can be used every day. But I says, well, if you just flatten the globe, it's still the same thing potentially. It's just south that's been compromised.
Guys, George is back.
Hey, George.
Yo, George.
What's up, bro?
Thanks, P Mars, for making room for me.
Yeah, shout out to P.
Shout out to Retracted. No.
Yeah, well done, Arwin. So, Coriolis, George.
Okay. Can you and I have a dialogue without others interrupting, particularly Arwin? Can Arwin please restrain himself so that we can have an adult?
I think George should be
Shut up, now, old man, and get to the point.
Just get on with it.
Okay. Just so we have common definition of terms here. Do you know what ballistic flight is, Riley?
Yeah, it's a bullet flying through the air.
Well, ballistic flight is motion of a projectile only under the influence of gravity. Okay, no other forces affect it.
But hang on, how can a projectile have motion and not have its motion as a force?
Huh?
A bullet. That's...
I said no. Wait, back up. Ballistic flight means that you don't have. No, please, just let me go here.
No one's interrupting you.
Ballistic flight means that. Oh, just a minute. I gotta.
We're gonna need a definition.
Yeah, hang on a minute. I gotta shut the window down here. Okay, I was having some feedback. Okay, ballistic flight is where you impart a motion. You impart a force to a projectile initially, and then you release it, and it's on its own in flight. There's no other forces acting on it.
Can we have a definition, please?
It's excellent. Sorry, I've got that up on screen right now, George. So there's a ball being released from a roundabout that fits that description perfectly.
I'll get to that, Nathan.
Well, no, I'm getting to it now. So we have the exact explanation that you have. We have something that is in free flight, the ball. That is according to you in ballistic flight.
Ballistic flight is an object that is moving through the atmosphere only under the influence of gravity. Gravity is pulling it back down to the Earth. I know you have a problem with gravity, but that's the definition of ballistic flight. That you have no other motion, you have no other forces acting on that object other than gravity. That's what we mean. You don't have powered flight. You don't have an engine attached to it. You don't have wings. You don't have airlift. It is only subjected to the influence of gravity pulling it back down to the Earth. That's what we mean by
it's a force
ballistic
disequilibrium.
flight.
It's a force disequilibrium. You can't prove
come
the
on,
cause.
Arwen, please.
No, that's what it is.
Hang on. I think
know exactly what this is.
On
We're
screen.
going into theoretics.
No.
Yeah.
The thing that you have a problem with here, Nathan and others, is the fact that when a bullet is going through the atmosphere, you're not understanding that it is not attached to the atmosphere. It is not in the same reference frame.
Yes, it is. It's travelling through the atmosphere. That is the medium that it is travelling through. So to say that it is no longer travelling through the atmosphere is utter nonsense.
Okay, well, we can't go anywhere if you're not going to understand that if you throw a ball or you shoot a gun and have a projectile, a bullet going through the atmosphere, it is in a reference frame independent of the atmosphere. It is not
No,
attached.
it's not. That's what it says on screen. That's what we've got on screen. So you throw the ball, exactly as you described, it enters the atmosphere and suffers an apparent deflection because it's in a second reference frame, the atmosphere.
Just real quick, it sounds to me like George is describing traveling through a vacuum because it's completely independent of anything. Is that what you're saying, George?
It's pretty much like going in a vacuum with the atmosphere.
Oh, well, that's a pity because we're not living in a vacuum, George. We live in the atmosphere, which is what the bullet actually travels through in the same way the ball does. So there's no difference. It's just travelling into a second reference frame, the atmosphere.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything about gravity.
Just look at my picture. It explains it very visually, very clearly.
We need a definition on
all
screen.
right. Oh, all right. Arwen's insisting. All right. Let's deal with Arwen here so he'll go away. Well, what about your
This
picture?
is assuming
Arwen?
all
What-
the ball stuff and everything. It's very simple.
What about your picture?
Either
No
you
Coriolis
have
effect, Coriolis
Either
effect.
you have air moving with the Earth, as most people basically use as a baseline, and then there is no Coriolis effect when you move or shoot anything on the Earth, because the air is moving with the Earth rotating.
Arwen,
or
look.
There's a stationary air layer, and the Earth basically turns underneath it. And
Okay,
then
let
there
me
is
explain where you're
Coriolis
wrong.
effect experience.
Let Rumpus in hang out, Arwen.
Jesus
He won't-
Christ, man! Can
I
you
know.
ever let somebody finish?
I know, he
talking?
won't let you talk, Arwen, because you're demolishing his point.
I know where you're coming from on this.
This is basic of the basics. It's very
No,
simple.
One reference frame, you don't get a deflection. Two reference frames, you get a deflection because the first reference frame continues to rotate underneath the second one. That would be the atmosphere, not the bullet.
No.
Yes.
When you release,
Yes.
When
What do you mean? No.
That's Coriolis effect. Motion.
There it is. It's on screen. There it is.
Arwen's BS.
Makes it really clear. It's on
But
screen for the audience.
You had a chance to talk, but you came out with the wrong answer. So these people have already studied what you're trying to propose. This is what you're not getting. You're coming out with no, but you're not. You had a chance to talk, and you didn't explain it properly.
I haven't had a chance to talk.
Because
I'm always
as soon as you step into that wrong step, as soon as you make that one wrong step, you game over. You're already going down the wrong path. So they're stopping you at that point.
No, I'm not
trying to correct you. You're not getting it.
Can I be heard?
Go ahead.
Can I be heard, anybody?
Yes, I can hear you.
Right, we need a definition of ballistic on screen, please. It does not have the word gravity in it, and it does not say that that's the only force. It says that something that is in ballistic flight is traveling through a frame of reference, usually the atmosphere.
Oh dear, George!
In the atmosphere.
Can you bring it up on screen, please, Anthony, so we can see it?
Oh,
and then we'll round out the show. Then we'll round out the show, having absolutely obliterated George again.
Right. Okay.
You there, George? You enjoying this? It's gone suspiciously quiet.
George, you're mute. Unmute yourself.
Ready when you are, Anthony.
I'm just getting it up there with me.
Okay, number one. Put up your definition of ballistic flight here, Riley.
I'm on it. All right, screen sharing. Nathan, have you got this on?
Yeah, you're on Google.
Now, you said before that ballistic flight...
Get ballistic flight. Get the definition of ballistic
flight. Why are you demanding that he's doing what he does? Why are you rumpusing the hangout, George? He's doing it. Shut your mouth. He's bringing it up where you haven't. Just shut up.
Now, you said before that the only force that would be affecting a bullet that's in ballistic flight would be gravity, and I said that would basically mean it's not moving. It would need the force behind it as well. That would be a force that's affecting the bullet. But it reads, the adjective ballistic describes the flight of an object through space, not creating its own space, through space. It usually applies to projectiles like bullets or rockets that are fired from weapons. If you're in the path of ballistic missile, get out the way. But the key word is through, not creating its own.
Yeah. With space, it means space.
Yeah, it's going through the atmosphere. It's going through space. It's independent of those.
No, that's not what it says. That's not what it says.
No. Hey, just a minute.
What do you mean, just a minute? That is not what it says.
Well, that's one particular thing that... Right.
So where's yours? Where's yours, you senile old git? You've just demanded he brought this up and it shits all over your pathetic argument for about the 5th time.
There's another one that says 3. Would you like me to get a third and we'll go for a best of 3?
Yeah. Then we'll round out, having crapped all over this idiot for about the 5th time on the same subject.
Ballistic tests of relating to ballistics, denoting or relating to the flight of projectiles after power has been cut off, moving under their own momentum. Oh, this one does say gravity, to be fair, and resistance. This one does say gravity, movement measuring depending on brief impulse. So we've got 2 that say without gravity and 1 that says with. See if we can get another one.
You scared of me, Nathan? You scared of what I can show you?
Yeah, I'm dead scared of you.
You're very scared, aren't you?
Yeah, very. Are you going to show us the whole body of science?
So it would appear. Oh, God, right, I'm scared. I can show you a diagram that tell you about reference frames, and you become aware.
What about
the body of science, Nathan?
What about actual evidence proving that this Earth is spinning? Can you do that?
No, let me just show you. Let's just show you just a little thing, just to see a little test for everybody of
endurance.
Is this going to be another little story?
No, it's going to be a little. No, this bloody thing's changed. Can you see this diagram?
Have you made this diagram?
Can you see this little diagram?
Have you made this diagram?
Sorry?
Have you made this diagram?
I have made this diagram, yes.
You
It's a
have?
lovely diagram.
Hold on.
Fascinating.
Hold on. Have you made this diagram?
Yes, I have made...
Get out.
What? Why?
I don't want to hear his diagram. I couldn't give a crap what Rumpus can conjure on his own. I couldn't care less. We've got plenty of references that say the bullet travels through the atmosphere, not creating its own reference frame, so at this stage I couldn't give a crap what Rumpus comes up with. Find us a reference from somebody that's not Rumpus. Don't draw pictures for me. I couldn't care less.
I agree.
All right. Okay.
Okay. Hey, Riley.
Yeah.
All right. Now let's forget about the gravity aspect then, if that's bothering you. A ballistic projectile is one that is not being subjected to outside forces once it is initially released under its own momentum. Okay.
Into the atmosphere. Into the atmosphere, which it travels through, correct?
Yeah, it travels through the atmosphere.
Right, so if it's travelling through the atmosphere and the atmosphere is attached to the spinning frame of reference, then you don't have Coriolis!
No, you're right.
Yes!
No.
What do you mean, no? If the atmosphere is travelling with the rotating reference frame and the bullet travels through the atmosphere, then you don't have a second reference frame.
You do, the surface of the Earth.
The surface of the Earth is spinning. And the atmosphere is attached. Therefore, you've got one.
The bullet is going in a straight line. The Earth is rotating. You have two reference frames, a straight line, a straight transverse reference frame with the projectile going in a straight line, and you have the Earth spinning beneath it. Hence,
excellent. So if it's rotating underneath the bullet, why don't planes take a different time traveling east to west and west to east?
Because that's not ballistic flight. That's
right. So suddenly it's different.
A large aerodynamic profile.
So suddenly it's different. So suddenly it's becoming different. It's no different. They're the same. Ball, plane, helicopter, bullet, they all suffer. No, don't rumpus the hangout, you senile old bastard. I'm going to make my point. If the Earth rotates underneath the bullet, then it would rotate under the plane. Don't rumpus the hangout. Right, you got to go. You won't let us demolish your point. You just talk over us. So you got to go. Sorry. If the Earth rotates underneath the bullet, it also rotates underneath the plane. That, by definition, is the Coriolis effect. The problem is planes don't take a different duration. They're the same, because there's no spin to Earth. That's the fact of the matter. George can try and obfuscate it for the 5th time by double-speaking his way around it. He's conceded. The bullet travels through the atmosphere and the Earth rotates underneath. The plane travels through the atmosphere and the Earth rotates underneath. Oh, right. Well, why aren't the durations of the flights different? Because it's not rotating. It's all bollocks.
Could I just address Mark Taylor in the chat? Because he's saying that perspective has nothing to do with curve, and you honestly think that boats and buildings are blocked from bottom up because of perspective. And I've gone my whole life thinking that it was because of curvature. But obviously, there is another explanation for why that happens. And I feel as if that curtain has been pulled over my eyes my whole life due to thinking that it was curvature. And really, there is another explanation for it. And that's basically, it's not that I'm stupid or that now I've gone from being really intellectual now to being babbling flat earth idiot, because I'm not a flat earther. I'm just thinking that there is something there that there's something out there that can be explained by perspective, and everyone's been taught that it's curvature, and I feel like I've been lied to, and that's where I'm now agnostic which one to believe.
And let me just say, what you're actually pointing out now is a fallacy of debate known as the affirming the consequence fallacy, because one doesn't necessarily follow the other. If it can be explained by another version of life events and other events that can explain what you're looking at, then it's not proof. You've got to prove cause, and there's a very specific way to do that. It's known as the scientific method, where you independently manipulate a variable and then prove a consequence. That's science.
That's why
That's why I was saying there doesn't appear to be any science when people like Rumpus say things like, what's the whole body of science, Nathan? Well, where is that?
That's what I'm saying. They're automatically not even done any research themselves. My mate is a glober, and I've got a mate who's a flat earther. When I speak to the globe mate, I says to him, he goes, "Oh, well, I don't want to bother debating. It's stupid because I already know that the earth round." So he isn't even willing to do any experiments. He ain't willing to look into it. He ain't willing to even, because as far as he's concerned, it's stupid to look into it. So you've got all these people that are intentionally ignorant and won't even go into it, and they just think anyone else who doesn't believe that is just automatically an idiot. That is basically indoctrination. And I personally have had a problem with religion my whole life. I've always been wondering what life is and what it's supposed to be. And religious people will not leave their faith no matter what. I can turn around to a Muslim or a Christian or whatever and try to explain to them that you do realize that the book you're believing in, and there's no real, like, have you actually read the book? And they just go, oh no, but God says this, God says that. And so they won't even look outside of that because they're comfort in that book.
Inherent problem with all religions. They all believe that their team's right, but really it's just a football team. It's just in the name of religion.
Exactly. And I'm the last person I want to be, somebody that's indoctrinated and only believes something because he's been brought up to believe it. And that's basically what curvature is.
And with that, I will say, gravitas radius, domitus spiritus sanctus, Amen. In R we trust, go in peace. And also a massive thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate, and of course a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. If you hated the show, then you know what to do, but if you liked it, maybe consider sharing it with a friend or subscribing if you've not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!